The next Animal Crossing might be live service, and in this video I go over why that might be, from developer interviews to leaks and rumors that we do have right now. So let's get into it. I want to quickly thank everyone for the support on the previous Animal Crossing video going over leaks and rumors. And if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing. And if you haven't already, I've been posting daily when it comes to anything Nintendo. But let's get into it. So as I said before, I recently did a video talking about everything when it came to leaks and rumors regarding Animal Crossing on the Switch. And that got a lot of discussion because I did mention live service for Animal Crossing, and that was a main topic point for that video. And if you guys haven't watched that video, it's going to be in the top right corner. But regarding the live service, there has been leaks regarding EPD5's next game's features. There's been code names that's been leaked out, one of them being Spiral, one of them being Owl, and we already know Spiral is Splatoon and Owl presumably being Animal Crossing. Interestingly enough, both of these use internal quote-unquote vote systems like Splatfest. So basically that they collect data via the users to then implement into a future mechanic. This has sparked speculation for live service. Nash Weedle, another credible leaker, also mentioned live service and a more collaborative multiplayer experience when talking about him sitting in on an Animal Crossing development brainstorming session. So, does this mean Animal Crossing 2026 is going to be live service? I actually think so. And I want to hold you guys right there. I can hear you typing. It's not going to be live service like you think. It's going to be $60 and there's going to be content updates probably every 2 to 3 months, similar to how Splatoon 3 handled it. That is what I mean by live service. Okay, there's going to be a lot more content, a lot more actual events that we can experience. Of course, there's going to be a somewhat full game at launch, but they're going to be adding more content that we can all experience together throughout the game's life. Hopefully more than 2 years. Actually, I think it's definitely going to be more than 2 years. I just want to clear that up. Another big reason for this is EPD5 is the developers for Splatoon 3, and they most likely split off from the Splatoon team to make a core Animal Crossing team. Probably would be taking a lot of their design philosophies, like the live service elements from Splatoon 3. But there is one thing I kind of want to point out. With all this hype of Animal Crossing 2026, I went back on Nintendo Life to look at any interviews and articles that were shared from the team to share on what they might be doing for the future. And I found this one. Nintendo's president discusses Animal Crossing's New Horizons' impact on future game development. So he's basically saying what his mindset is for the future of Animal Crossing and Nintendo games as a whole, which we can see now is quite true. This interview was released back in 2021, and what he's saying in this interview is actually holding true till today. And since they kind of directly talk about Animal Crossing, we can assume that this is going to correlate into 2026. They introduced the interview saying, the latest entry in Nintendo's Cuddly Life Sim series already sold more than 31 million units, challenging Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the honor of being the Switch's best-selling title. It didn't end up being. So they asked the question, how will the game's success affect Nintendo's future in game development? In an interview with Nickel, a Japanese publication, Nintendo president Satoru Furukawa has explained the acceptance of games' long lifespan. This is the part I want to focus on. Thanks to ongoing content and updates, we will have a quote-unquote significant impact on Nintendo's future work. And this isn't just for Animal Crossing, but I think it's especially important to talk about it with Animal Crossing, because this definitely seems like Nintendo's philosophy going into Nintendo Switch 2, selling games like Mario Kart and slowly drip feeding more content over time to keep it into the relevant life cycle. Take Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, for example, and the Booster Course Pass. I think that was them testing out this theory where they slowly gave us more tracks throughout the time. Of course, we're still pretty new into the life cycle of the Switch 2, so we can't see 100% how they're leaning into this development mindset. Here is his full quote, by the way. It's true that our recent growth has stemmed from the need for people to stay at home. Even though Japan's state of emergency is over, people are spending more time at home than before. As games with long lifespans like Animal Crossing become more accepted, we believe this will have a significant impact on future development. We want to provide games that can allow communication between friends and family. that is another thing I would like to point out. Because when Animal Crossing basically ended in the middle of COVID, we actually had the start of the development for the Switch 2. And then them saying we want to provide games that can allow communication between friends and families is important, because the Switch 2, one of the big system sellers is game chat, which they literally marketed as alone? Question mark? No, alone together. They're all online communication. And I believe Animal Crossing will probably have a major feature when it comes to game chat, more than Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart's implementation is probably the best you could get when it comes to a racing sim, but Animal Crossing, I think that could go crazy. I'll probably have a whole nother video discussing my hopes and dreams when it comes to Animal Crossing and the features I want to see, but game chat is probably on the top of that list. They did end this article with, perhaps Nintendo will create a whole new way of staying in touch with the new IP, only time will tell. And honestly, that is exactly what they did with game chat. Going into the rumors about it being a more collaborative multiplayer, large city, and having more of live service elements similar to Splatoon 3, I think it is highly likely that Animal Crossing will be similar to Splatoon 3 when it comes to the way content gets drip fed to us. And they already kind of showed this to us with Animal Crossing New Horizons, but I don't think they were planning to develop that game for as long as they did. There was only 2 major updates for Animal Crossing New Horizon, and personally I think the reason that is because they didn't expect that amount of success for Animal Crossing, and EDP5 was a small team. They didn't have the amount of people that they do have now. I have a bunch of videos discussing EP5 and what that means for Animal Crossing and Splatoon in the future. So I would definitely go check those out if you haven't already. So going into my personal opinions and nothing really leak oriented, when it comes to content updates, I think the way that they handled it in New Horizons is probably the way that we're going to see it in 2026. That being like a major event happening probably about once a month, and it'll probably be drip fed to us once a month until, a year rolls around, and then they'll kind of recycle that content and then probably introduce more similar DLC like they did with Happy Home Paradise, except now I think Happy Home Paradise is going to be a staple instead of a DLC. When it comes to the brainstorming development links, we see that adventure missions, puzzles, and mini games was a part of it, and a more collaborative experience. So I think there's probably going to be more than one way to play Animal Crossing, which could be a good or a bad thing, depending on what you want. With the recent leak saying they might be implementing a Splatfest-style mechanic, and if you don't know what those are, basically 2 to 3 teams vote on a topic, and then at the end of the week, we get to see a winner. So I would love to see actually something like that where we could see communities kind of come together. And that's why I think Splatoon has a strong community, is because of events like that. And I could totally see maybe fishing tourneys. You compete with actual people, could be cool. If it's taking place in a city, we could definitely still have city parks where they could hold events for online little lobbies, similar to they have in Mario Kart World. I could totally see you rock up to a city park and immediately, like, you're in like an online session with like 5 other people. And then once you leave that park, you're back into your solo session. I think that would be something really cool if they added something like that. When it comes to Splatfest style events, I don't know if they'll add or we like vote on different topics, but what if they have community projects for the whole gaming sphere? Like, imagine that you're living in a city and we could vote on what the next city project could be. So, imagine like, oh, maybe the city can get a movie theater or Brewster's Cafe. Whichever one wins gets constructed first, or something like that. I'm kind of thinking a little too big picture or slower pace, but Animal Crossing is a slow paced game. And I think Nintendo is going to have to find a way to stop time travelers if that's something that they want to do. And again, I'm of the mentality that if you want to time travel, you can. But seeing how Nintendo has handled Mario Kart World and its intermission tracks, I think they're going to want us not to time travel, and they're going to figure out a way for us to not do that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys want to see live service elements in Animal Crossing 2026? If you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe. I'll be doing more Animal Crossing coverage as well as everything Nintendo. I'm CraftyType1, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.